Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, back for another Love and Marriage Huntsville review. I don't anticipate being here long because I got to get dressed and head on out. But do me a favor, hit the like button as we jump into this. One thing that I have to say about this is the best part of this episode was the last 12 minutes of the episode. Trish's husband looks foolish. I don't trust Trish. I think that her timeline is off, but she does not seem like she's been trying to keep her kids from her husband. I need for Marquez to man up and be there for his kids. So the episode begins. It's the final dinner in St. Thomas. Everyone shows up with their white on. They get a fire show. They're sitting around the table talking about what a great job Mel has done on the trip and how this is the first time in a long time that all of them can be together and they're getting along. Kimmy and Tisha both say that they've never been on a girls' trip. I find that a little odd. I've been on them and they're a lot of fun, but they've never been on girls' trips. But Kimmy says, it's been wonderful. Destiny is making a face at Kimmy and them saying it's wonderful. And Mel's like, what's the face for? And she says, I'm fine. Nothing. I didn't say anything. Just because I didn't clap doesn't mean I don't agree. But then she tells us in confessional that she feels like they're all kissing Mel's butt. But Destiny had moments herself where she was kissing Mel's butt. So why are you getting mad at them for doing it when you did it yourself? So I don't really get that. She brings up how for her, there have been moments where she's been uncomfortable and how one of the moments was earlier in the day when she sat there having to listen to her friends ask about kids with, ask about Sunny having kids with her ex. I get that it's your ex, but at this point, I really need Destiny to let it go, especially because right now on the show, you're supposedly dating someone. So why are we harping on this situation? Nell's like, look, I'll apologize because I was the one who said it. I didn't mean to offend you by asking Sunny about kids. It wasn't my intention. Sunny says, I think that since, some people have been betrayed, that it will help for other people to acknowledge it and then we can move on. And as soon as she said, I'm like, Sunny, what are you talking about, girl? That shouldn't be coming from you. I said, oh Lord, here we go. So Destiny's like, that's real funny coming from you using the word betrayal. And they go back and forth again about the same stuff that they've been going back and forth this whole time. Because Destiny feels like it's ironic for her out of all people to say it. It's the same conversation over and over again. I'm not talking about it. Bottom line is, Sunny says, I slept with your ex, not your man. And she's like, you don't got to say it like that. And she's like, say it like what? She's like, stink like that. And she says she didn't say it any kind of way. And Mel's like, you did make a face. She said, okay, I apologize, but I apologized to you yesterday. I was very sincere in that. You're either going to take it or you're not going to take it. She says, I'm not. Nell says, at one point, I felt like Sunny wasn't genuine with her apology. Then I felt like she was. Either way, neither one of them seemed to care about it, so they should just let it go. I think they do care about it. I think both of them are trying to prove their own point. But Destiny, you already proved your point that he was still trying to, to be with you or saying certain things to you back in August by showing the text messages. So there's no need to keep going on about this. So Mel reads a poem that she thought was going to invoke tears. It didn't. She presents them with white roses, saying it's a symbol for new beginnings. She shows them a picture that they all took, says that she wants all of them to sign it, and then she's going to have copies made. They don't want that picture, girl. Half of them can't even really stand each other. They toast, and then they head home. 4 episodes in St. Thomas, and that's all we got. So we're back. And now we got to hear every single couple talk about the trip in different ways. So we start with Trisha and Ken. I hope that this is their last season on the show. They do not make good TV, in my opinion. Both of them come across as very contrived. The realest thing that I think that we've gotten from them this entire time was what we just saw in the last 12 minutes of this episode. I've never seen genuineness from them. other than that. At first, I thought it was because of the television and the cameras and stuff, but I think that that's just how they are. Both of them seem like they got to stick up their butts. So she talks about how she didn't like Sonny comparing their situations because it's completely different, and how Shamita is Mel's puppet, and the both of them say that they don't feel like they stepped on anyone's toes, and how Ken came a long time ago, and Ken says how many couples are dating and they're not divorced. There's a lot of couples that have relationships before they get divorced. Even if that is the case, that doesn't make it right. Just because you decide to do this doesn't mean that it's right to do it and that everybody should take on that stance. And what? Trish says, and Mel is one of those people that has done that. I don't understand why she's so focused on what Mel did and why she's coming at Mel in this moment, because Mel didn't really do anything to you. She didn't say much to you. So why are you sitting there talking about Mel when we need to be talking about you? She then claims how Tisha brought up Martell and how she didn't like it. She says that she wanted to tell Mel herself, but I don't feel like she ever thought she was going to have to tell Mel. I think that she was going to deny it, and she thought that was going to be enough because she had every opportunity to tell Mel. She could have very easily reached out to production and said, can you put together a scene for me and Mel? And they would have done that. But I don't think she was trying to do that. Ken claims that he doesn't want to hear about the whole situation anymore. He's tired of talking about it. But then he continues to talk about it because he brings up what happened with Martell and the guys. He says, I need to talk to him because I didn't like, that Martell didn't shut it down when, people were alluding to things and making it seem like it's something that it's not. I don't like him painting the picture like you're a thought. I need to protect your image. If you really felt that way, why didn't you say that the other day when you were with him? The guys clocked you. The guys noticed that you were a side piece. The guys and the ladies have said it multiple times. Now you're in defense mode to clear your name, but it's too late because when it comes to this part of the situation, in my opinion, you look like a clown. He says he also wants to sit down with Marquez so that they can all be on the same page because he's not going anywhere and he wants to marry her. She agrees, yeah, they need to do that. End of that. On to Kimmy and Maurice. They're outside talking. We got to hear about the trip again because they don't have anything else to give. Kimmy says it was an up and down trip, but she didn't have any issues with anyone other than Nell because Nell was hollering at her and she's not one of Nell's kids. She said Nell was all in her business and everything was good. Her and Mel were handling the room situation until Nell came out. Kimmy claims that she likes Trish because Trish stood her ground. She says it does look bad though because she wasn't open about the Martell situation at first. She felt like that she handled the heat well. Maurice says, Martell said that they didn't do anything. It seems like they're saying the same stuff, but you can never be sure what actually went down because the timelines aren't matching up. All these relationships overlap, and they do. He says she is still married. The guy left her when the world shut down. Understand, he left her when there was a pandemic. People have already found the pictures because she was doing a happy anniversary post during the pandemic. So they're lying about the timeline. They're not telling us the truth of the overlap. The girl took pictures with him. They had it posted all online. It was her legitimate page. I don't know if it's still up there since they called her out on it, but it was. Either way, she's still married to the man. Maurice says he may love her more than she loves him based on the way it seems. Me personally, I think Maurice may be right. I think that Trish needed to work on herself before she got with anybody else because she has a lot of issues. She hasn't dealt with the loss of her parents. She hasn't dealt with the loss I can't remember if she lost a sibling. I think she lost a sibling as well. There's a lot there because you start the show letting your sister know that you and Ken are serious. And then later on, we're going to hear that Ken's supposed to go to a graduation for your son, but your siblings didn't even know that you're serious with this man. So what exactly are we doing here? End of that. We go to Tisha. Tisha is back in her black kitchen. And she's talking about how she's glad to be back from the trip. She says overall it was good despite all the foul things that Destiny and Mel said, that they did seem to get along with one another. Marceau says, they have said some things. He then talks about how, Martell makes jokes about sleeping with Destiny. Because, Tisha says something about how Mel accused Destiny of sleeping with Martell. And he was like, well, I can see why Mel would say that because he makes jokes about sleeping with Destiny. He even says that, Law looks like him. Tisha says, Destiny said that Mel, when they were going back and forth, was trying to teach, the side person how to respectfully cheat. And Marceau makes a face and he's like, Mel ain't tried to do that. That's not what she tried to do. I don't believe that. There are times where I do like Marceau, and that is one of them because it doesn't sound right. He's like, most of the time, if it doesn't make sense and if it doesn't sound right, it's because it doesn't make sense. Tisha feels like Martell enjoys having the ladies argue over him. And Marceau's like, yeah, he does. He said that he does. She then talks about Shamita calling her the ops and how Shamita told Mel to watch her. Marceau says, I've seen Shamita before. And Tisha's like, yeah, the one that looks like a man. He was like, don't say that. He said, but, she won't be around much longer if it's Mel's friend because Mel can't keep friends. That's the story of the show. I don't believe that. Mel can't keep friends on the show or friends of the show. It seems like Mel is particular about who her real friends are. And looking back at this, y'all weren't Mel's friends. Y'all were Martell's friends that became friends with Mel. And the only reason why he is still Martell's friend after all the mess and the things that Martell has said and done is because Martell knows where some of the bones are buried. Because Martell is keeping your secrets. Because y'all friendship is weird to me. They talk about Trish and Martell. Marceau says that they need to learn how to lie because the stories don't make sense and the timelines aren't matching. Who has someone come over their house, train them, watch a movie, and you don't even have a gym? How are you supposed to train somebody? Like, when she wanted to train you, where did she want to train you, Tisha? And Tisha's like, the gym. Bottom line, they all keep mess. It would really be nice, though, to watch the Scotts, all of the Scotts, talk about something other than other people. It'd be nice to see them talk more about themselves because the only thing that we've gotten from them so far this season about them is the situation with Black when it got shut down. We didn't even hear anything else about that since. I'm just saying. We don't know nothing about what's going on with Kimmy. Y'all spent that whole season talking about libido to now give us that little snippet of y'all having a property that, somebody's going to buy and either be a chef in or something. And that's it. We've gotten nothing else from them too. What do you got? What do we got going on? We see Ken and Trish meet up with Marquez. He says they're still married, so he wants them to address the past. He talks about the things that Ken used to do, like putting emojis and stuff under the pics and saying that he liked chocolate, all of that stuff when they were together. Ken denies it. He's like, I should know who's around my daughter. I didn't leave my kids. I removed myself from the situation. I was right up the street. She's like, look, whatever way you put it, you were absent. He's like, he can't see them when he tries to see them because they always use the excuse that his daughter has dance. If you want to see her, then go to the dance class. Pick her up from school. Sometimes rehearsals are closed. I remember there was a lot of times that my parents couldn't watch me. My mom couldn't watch me. My dad couldn't watch me. But there were times where my dad would come in town and my dad would drop me off at rehearsal, wait in the parking lot and come and get me. These are things that you do. You can have a moment together while you're driving her back to her home. Stop acting like it's all her fault. He then says, do you hug my daughter to bed? Do you hug her? Do you pray over her? And Ken's like, yeah, we're affectionate. And my daughter and her get along very well. I don't care about the situation that they have going on. In my opinion, what makes this whole thing messy is because Trish didn't end things with her husband before moving into a home with another man. That part of it is kind of messy to me because this isn't a situation where you two are just no longer together. You're still married to this man, dating another man, and allowing your daughter to see it. I feel like as parents, we need to be better examples to our children. You can agree to disagree with me, and down below, that's fine. This is my opinion. My opinion is have that door closed before you open another one. She says, no one has stopped you from seeing your kids. When you were 5 minutes away, you weren't doing it. He says he doesn't like knowing that Ken moved in before he knew him. He wants to work on the relationship as a whole. He wants to be comfortable while he's there to see them. He starts talking about the things that Ken has done and how it hurt him to see him playing basketball with his son and his nephew, and him buying his son a car and him taking his son out of the country. His problem is his ego is bruised. Trish's husband is really all in his feelings because this man has done for his kids what he himself was not doing. You can't want respect as a father, but you're not doing anything to warrant you to get that respect. You're a father in DNA, not in action. And I like the end part where Ken spoke about his action. Ken lets him know, like, look, I'm not trying to take your place. I'm a man. And as a man, I'm a provider, and I'm going to make sure that I do certain things. When he said it, I said, I'm not mad at that. I can respect that. He says, I just want to make sure that the kids have the love, the affection, and all the things that they need, financial, emotional, whatever, from all three of us. I'd love to split it 3 ways. I don't have no beef with you. I want everybody to be comfortable. He says that, the kids mess with me because I am who I say I am. He says, to me, love is an action word. You can see the things that I'm doing, and based off the things that I'm doing, you should know who I am. I said, Ken, I don't have nothing to say about that. I do appreciate the fact that he shows up for her kids. I do appreciate the fact that he makes sure that they're good and he's a provider and all those things, and he seems like he's hands-on. No complaints from me there with that. They agree that they're going to be there, and he says he wants to be there for his son's graduation. Marquez admits that it won't be easy because he's alone and you got her. He's sad because he's by himself. It's not about the kids. He said, I brought the papers. He says, we just got to get them notarized and signed. She's shocked. But if you really wanted this done a long time ago, you could have did it yourself because you've had the means to do it. You were slow walking to it too. It's not all on him. It's on Trish too. She signs it. He cries as she's signing. He's like, this is messing me up. And, I miss being able to tuck in my kids and all of this other stuff. And he's like, but I admit it's on me. Ken says, look, I get it, bro. I feel you. I'm doing the things that you want to do, but we can work on this. He was like, and for real, I'm saying it because it's worked for me. Get therapy, bro. Therapy will help you. I agree. He does need therapy, but he needs more than that. He needs to man up. He says, and if you want, you can reach out to me. Do y'all believe that he really wants him to reach out to him? I'm just wondering, because I was like, okay, Ken, you may be, piling it on there with that one. But I do think that Ken genuinely cares about the kids and does want to be in a good co-parenting relationship for the kids. Trish says she's so used to the waterworks. When he started crying, she was like, oh, here we go with the waterworks. He pours his heart out and says he's going to do this and do that, and nothing changes. Hopefully, in my opinion, hopefully it changes. They end up walking out as he sits there hunched over the table with tears streaming down his eyes and the sad music playing. And that's the end. Y'all let me know overall what you thought of this episode. If there's something that I left out that you want to talk about, feel free to put it down below, and we'll discuss it. Until next time.